Oh, we got a championship ring. I guess that's one thing, but the view here is the same.
Not bad.
So it's pretty good. But, I think like all of us, we're all just kind of trying to figure out the landscape of college athletics right now. And, so it's a little different, little the same, but, everybody's trying to make progress.
How good was last year when you think back to the fact that you win this league, and you don't just win the league, you win it by 3 games outright. And I know players came on late, but not a single guy was all Big Ten first or second team. I think it's the first time that it happened in the league in some 30 years. Was that one of the more pleasantly surprising runs that any of your teams have made?
Yeah, I think it was. I should have felt great. We do that, and with a team that wasn't as talented as most that I've had, but more together, and we had depth. We had no injuries because I think we had depth. And then we make the run to the Elite Eight, and we just couldn't make a shot. My 2 guards were, I think, 3 for 23 in that game. And so you should feel good. And then the day after, the portal hits and all the things go crazy. So I haven't figured out. This is the first time I've been able to think about it. I'm glad you brought it up. It was a great year. It was great guys. Staff did a good job, but it kind of shows that togetherness still does matter. It really does.
And I know, Tom, you're not a guy who likes to talk too much about your own accomplishments. You generally say, I've been around a long time, got a lot of good players that have helped me win a lot of games, but you did pass Bob Knight to become the winningest coach in the history of the Big Ten. Have you been able to soak that in at least a little bit and realize just how enormous the magnitude of that is?
I got a great letter from Pat Knight, Bob's son, and there's some guys down there, radio guys and that brought it up. Bob Knight, my first Big Ten win was against Indiana, and they were good and we weren't. And so it's kind of apropos that it, I guess, happened at the end. But I had great respect for Bob, and I do feel that the players do play the game, but I guess I was part of it, and a good part of it, and it was something that I'll be very proud of because it means you not only lasted a long time, but maybe more important, I think played at a pretty good level most of your career so far.
Tom, as you start to look ahead toward this year and what you've done in the offseason, maybe had to be a little bit busier looking into the portal than you've been in years past just because of the portal departures that you had. So what was your approach into the portal in the offseason?
Well, it was a little confusing because, Xavier Booker, we talked about it. We thought it may be best for him. He thought it was best. That was a very mutual one. And Trey Holloman was a little bit of a surprise. And when that happened, then we were a couple weeks away from all of a sudden Jace Richardson, who I don't think anybody thought would be one and done. But he just played to the level, and where they got him listed, he should be one and done. And so that threw a little monkey wrench into it. But at the same time, really happy for him. We brought in a couple guys, but we still got a majority of my team back and guys that I like. Now they Jeremy Fears got to take a big step. Cohen Carr got to take a big step. Jackson Kohler got to take a big step, Carson Cooper. So, and then we had a couple freshmen that we had sitting out that I think are going to help us a lot. So cupboard's not bare, but it's, I'm not sure anybody except Purdue knows what they got coming back.
Seemed like at the beginning of the year, Cohen was only known for being the guy that could jump out of the gym. And then as the year progressed, we saw that his game progressed as well. Where else does he have to work to make sure it continues to progress this year?
Well, he's got to lock himself in the gym, which he did before he went home. We're home for another week, and then they come back. And his shooting, and he's changed his shot, changed his free throws. He was a very good free throw shooter at the end of the year. Now he's got to, defend. He's got to rebound even a little better. But he can run the floor. I expect him to have a big year. And Jeremy's the other guy. Remember, he had the severe injury, and he was out 9 months. So he didn't become back to himself till after Christmas, even later. And I think he'll take a monster step. And if those two guys do, some of the guys we got coming in and some of the guys we got back, I expect Kohler to take a big step too. And, that's the uniqueness of the modern basketball or athletics in general, football or basketball. Nobody knows for sure what anybody's got. It's kind of exciting in a way because people get an opportunity, but it's also not as comforting because you don't know who the other teams have. Purdue will be definitely picked to win the league and should be. Job Matt's done, but those guys are now all seniors that were freshmen at one time. And, they'll have a chance to win it all, I think. So the league will still be good, but a lot of new coaches, a lot of new players, same old me.
You've developed this family-style culture that's worked for you now for 3 decades. Has it gotten a little bit harder in this day and age?
Yeah, it really has. I think, we're used to having either guys leaving early or guys leaving when they graduate. It was, leaving early because they went pro. And very few guys transferred. And it's just a different era. I've adjusted, but I don't want to change what I had either. Culture, relationships are still very important to me. The day they're not, you won't be interviewing me.
Well, now it's the chance during this interview, which I do get to still do, for you to share your thoughts on the portal. And generally, what's good about it, and I don't think any of us believe that the players shouldn't benefit and shouldn't be able to benefit, but what needs to be, if not completely fixed, Tom, at least regulated a little bit before we lose total control of it?
Yeah, we've lost a lot of control now. Don't kid yourself. And, I think a lot of people are afraid to say it because they're in the middle of their careers. I'm not. But I'm not afraid to say it because I don't think it's benefiting the kids in the long. We got more guys at 4 different schools than we do 2 different schools right now. How can that benefit anybody? So I think the portal, they should get paid some money. There's got to be guardrails about it. I mean, how can players in college that aren't even pros be making as much money or more money? So there's got to be guardrails. It's gotten a little crazy. But the portal, to me, you get to leave early in basketball anyway. If you're good enough to go, you go. But if you're not good enough to go, just changing venues and learning how to do that, I don't think is beneficial. That's my opinion. And I saw a lot of teams last year have a lot of new guys that didn't do so well. Teams that had 1 or 2 that they brought in did pretty well. So we'll see how it works. It's not old school. It's really not. You got to look at the big picture. And I have so many players that come back, you know that. Is that going to continue? Are we going to continue to help the players that come back? If you have a guy for 8 months, it's not the same as you had him for 4 years. So I'm still sticking with my theory that players in the end, even though it seems like they're benefiting, have the freedom to do what they want. If you had the freedom to do what you want when you were 18, I'm not sure you'd be sitting here, and neither would I be. So it's a slippery slope. It's something that we have to adjust to, but relationships are going to matter until I'm done. And if that hurts me in the end, it'll get me. But I don't think so. Last year might have been proof of that, and I think we'll see. But I'm going to adjust. But I'm not changing what I believe in.
And I wouldn't say old school does apply to you, even though you are self-admittedly on the backside of your career. You're a guy that has said, some change is good. You've talked about the NCAA tournament, and people were like, no, 64, 68 is absolutely perfect. And you said, why not more teams? It's one of the best events ever. So why are those your thoughts on NCAA tournament as we continue to have this discussion about whether it is the right time to expand that tournament?
Well, there's a lot more Division I teams, number one. And there's a lot more people that put money into basketball, number 2. And we see that football went from 4 to 12. Now they're talking 16 or 18. I think you can water down a tournament. I don't think we should be going to 100. I don't know what the right number would be, but if you look at it, how many better teams are there today than there were 20 years ago? There's a lot better teams, and there's a lot more of them. Division I now, there's, 363 or something? So I think that should play some of the part in it. But I don't want to lose. There's something about, even though I've been a part of Cinderella's slipper not fitting, I've lost to a 15 seed or a 14 seed. But that is what makes the tournament. And I think keeping those teams in and maybe expanding a little more so you get more of the better teams in. Could be good, but at 68, it's not broken. I just think we're getting more teams. People are putting more money into basketball, so there's better teams. You look at the Big Ten and the SEC last year. It's amazing how well both of them did. But I think we're going to be, we got some new coaches. I think we're going to be really good. And some of us are back for a long time. I guess just me and Paint. Brad's getting there now too. But it'll be in good hands. It'll be good hands when I'm gone, because Matt Painter is, I think, one of the special coaches in the country also. By
the way, we both know that Middle Tennessee had no business being a 15 seed. You brought it up, but they had no business being down.
You know what was funny? We were talking about it today. That was the year we won the Big Ten championship and thought, I mean the tournament too, thought we'd be a 1 seed, and we ended up a 2 seed. That was the 1 year I said we should have been a 1, and the 1 year that Middle Tennessee, but you know, it was one of those games too. We were 1 in the country or 2 in defense. They shot 56, 54. Give them credit. They beat us. We shot pretty good and lost. So still one of the 2 that I thought we could win it all. Maybe 3. I thought with Gary Harris in 14, we get beat. We had a 9-point lead on UConn. They went on to win it in the Elite 8. I thought that team with Denzel and them was really good. And then, believe it or not, I thought the COVID year with Cassius, the year he lost his brother early and he was really coming on at the end. Xavier, we had a good team, and then COVID hit. We were playing our best basketball. So, who knows? There's been some times that we got to a Final Four we weren't that good.